Wasabi, guys! I just want to talk about what is quite possibly one of the best things to happen in recent history when it comes to different formats in Magic the Gathering, the game we all love to play. So anyway, let's get into this. If you don't already know the premise for what I'm about to talk about, let me just give it to you right now. Frontier is the newest format in Magic the Gathering. Quite frankly, it has many similarities to what we call Modern. Why is this? Well, when Modern was established, it was pretty much conjured up through the idea of, hey, we have a different card frame. This happened in 8th edition. So cards from 8th edition onward were considered to be Modern era cards. The same thing has happened for Frontier. The only difference is, instead of 8th edition as the core set going onward, it is M15, because the card frame for M15 was when they officially started doing the whole new black border on the bottom. They started giving the foil stamp to rares and mythics. Now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about specifics to Frontier and why it could potentially replace Modern and why it could also potentially be the new format for you. Many people have had their complaints about Standard in recent history due to the bans and due to the overall unstable nature of the game. There's not a lot of anticipation for the current sets because they leaked the whole entire thing for Ixalan. So what appeal is there for Frontier? Well, it adds a little bit more to the card pool to Standard. That's pretty much it. Imagine playing all the cards you can play with now, but with sets like M15, Khans of Tarkir, Fate Reforged, Dragons of Tarkir, and Magic Origins to play with in addition to what is currently Standard right now. That's the entire card pool for Frontier. It's not that big, but it makes an astronomical difference. Why? Because a little something called the Fetch Land cycle. The Fetch Lands reprinted in Khans of Tarkir are legal in Frontier. Quite frankly, this is the big difference between Standard and Frontier. Frontier is going to be more expensive because of this land cycle. Wizards have stated that it was a mistake reprinting the Fetch Lands, pretty much what contributed to being a very expensive time in Standard. And Frontier is basically revisiting that history. The only difference is you have a lot more busted combos and interactions. A lot of cards that were banned in Standard recently are perfectly legal in Frontier, such as the Saheeli Cat combo, in addition to cards that were also banned, such as Smuggler's Copter, everyone's favorite, Reflector Mage, awesome for control builds and Bant Company decks, and also Emrakul. Absolute awesomeness that all these cards are legal in the same format. It's almost as if what would have been if these cards were not banned and instead playable. And of course, let's go over some of the staples and some of the best decks in the format right now. As many of you already know, this format is very much in infant status. There's not much established. There is no ban list. That being said, there's a lot of possibilities. There's a lot of different decks already. None of them seem to be a clear-cut favorite, but they're all very powerful in their own right. Let's talk about Sultai Control. Sultai Control is typically powerful no matter what format, but in this one, you can play Jace Vryn's Prodigy, Satyr Wayfinder, Nissa Vastwood Seer, Kalitas Trader of Get, Ishkana Graph Widow, and Sidisi Brew Tyrant. In addition, you can also play Emrakul the Promised End. You can also play one of the newer Planeswalkers, Liliana the Last Hope. And playing Frontier opens you up to a lot of the powerful cards that are right now very good in Standard, such as Fatal Push. Another great deck in Frontier, and this one is arguably one of the most powerful because it plays a card that is absolutely just wrecking Modern right now, and that's Collected Company. Human Bant decks make up a big percentage of Frontier, but awesome staples such as Thraben Inspector, Jace Vryn's Prodigy, Thalia's Lieutenant, Reflector Mage, and Tireless Tracker all see play, along with a full playset of Collected Company. And of course you have the Saheeli combo decks. Those do tend to be very powerful in their own right, And again, it kind of goes with the whole trend of modern combo decks are typically the ones that are the most successful and the most hated on at the same time. There is no ban list, so eventually we can only hope that this grows into a point where there is a ban list. And Smuggler Copters decks, along with Ensoul Artifact, Scrap Heap Scrounger, Hope of Ghirapur, and Walking Ballista, awesome artifacts that you can play together in the same deck. Just great cards all in this short time period that you wouldn't think makes a whole lot of a difference, but only 5 individual sets added onto the current standard pool makes a huge difference. Let's go on to my personal opinion about the Frontier format, the new Modern. I just think so. It makes logical sense. When you think about what Wizards have done in the past, you cannot tell me that they don't acknowledge the fact that Chronicles, 4th edition, 5th edition, huge failures in the way it resulted in the reserve list. They didn't want to reprint that many cards that early on, and it ended up hurting them in the long run. Legacy is dying. See vintage tournaments at FNMs or at local game stores, period. Legacy is dying because the reserve list is making the cost to enter astronomically more expensive as the years go by. Cards like Gaia's Cradle, Grim Monolith, Lion's Eye Diamond are staples to the format, and they are just outrageously expensive, and they're only going to get more expensive as the years go on. That being said, when we think about Modern, the price point hasn't gone up that much. It may have gone up over the years, but it doesn't have that same threat of becoming inaccessible to the average Magic player. And quite frankly, Frontier's a great investment right now. Cards like Siege Rhino are only going to go up. Amazing value cards. Smuggler's Copters only going to go up. Invest in those cards while you can. They're amazing. So anyway, if you guys appreciate my insight, if you appreciate my advice, please subscribe, like, and share this video. I'm signing off. Void Mage Gamer. Thanks for watching.